New York Knicks take down the Boston Celtics and move to 2-0, but lose star player OG Anunoby in the closing minutes of the game. We got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Knicks Basketball 365. If you're a New York Knicks fan, hit that subscribe button, but let's get into it with breaking down this game. First, starting off with a tweet from Ian Begley talking about the OG Anunoby injury that took place late in the game where OG came down a little bit awkwardly on his left leg. It looked like it was kind of just straightened out too much, just didn't land right. Ian Begley tweeted out, OG Anunoby is getting worked on by Knicks trainers after walking off with an apparent leg injury. Doesn't seem like he's going back to the locker room, which should or could be a positive sign. So right now, no one knows for sure what the OG Anunoby injury actually is. It is being suspected on Twitter currently that it was only cramping, but right now the feeling is that it really was not too bad of an injury, and Knicks fans, we should not be too disheartened, not too worried about our guy OG Anunoby, but apparently people are saying who were sitting close to the Knicks bench are saying he told the trainers, I'm okay, when he got over there. So OG Anunoby should be just fine, but we're going to figure out how that actually shakes out when we see OG Anunoby or when we get an update either later tonight or more likely tomorrow morning. But going on to what actually happened in the game, Knicks beating the Boston Celtics 105-95, 10-point win to move to 2-0. Feels great to do it against the conference rival Boston Celtics. Felt great to eliminate them last year. This didn't feel as good as that did, but felt pretty good. Second quarter, a ton of fun where the New York Knicks outscored the Celtics 42-14. Got really, really hot, but really an on or off night, hit or miss for the New York Knicks tonight. There was, that the first quarter, they shot pretty poorly. They put up 22 points, but they shot poorly. Second quarter went crazy. And then the fourth quarter really could not hit the broadside of a barn, especially not the little basket, which is only 2 basketballs wide. Kind of rough shooting night for the Knicks, but the defense is something that Knicks fans can be extremely excited about. The Boston Celtics, extremely, they inexperienced. They got a lot of young guys after trading away their veterans and losing Jason Tatum due to an injury. Their team really, they are still called the Boston Celtics, but they're not the Celtics of 2 years ago. Certainly not the Celtics of last year either, which helps the Knicks make this feel like a more comfortable win than, the point I'm trying to make is this is a pretty bad Celtics team, and the way they're playing right now with their inexperience, I don't think this is a very strong win for Knicks going forwards, so I wouldn't get too excited for the New York Knicks just yet. I mean, still think we're going to the finals and all, but I wouldn't be sitting here thinking we're world beaters or anything. Definitely got stuff to work on, but something we do not have to work on, Karl-Anthony Towns 3-point shot, hit 3 3-pointers in the first quarter. One of them was an and one where he then converted via an extra point, making a 4-point play. Karl-Anthony Towns towering over everybody on the Celtics. 6 for 16, not the best field goal shooting night, but hey, he dominated. If you're watching the game, not just looking at the box score like we're doing right now, he absolutely dominated. I'm seeing now that it was plus minus was only 6, but I mean, it felt like Karl-Anthony Towns was unstoppable tonight, and it felt like versus the Pacers last year where Karl-Anthony Towns was just bigger than everyone and more physical than everyone and could kind of do whatever he wanted to do. But one important stat that I actually don't have the exact stat in front of me, but the offensive rebounding for the Knicks has been the number one story with this team through 2 games. And game 1 against the Cavs, it looked really, really impressive. Game 2, I felt like it kind of covered up the fact that the New York Knicks didn't shoot very well. OG Anunoby, 30% from the field. Mikal Bridges, 50%. He was pretty good. Brunson, 50%, pretty good. But Miles McBride getting a start, which was a little bit of a surprise. Deuce getting the start, 3 for 11. The shooting, especially in the fourth quarter, was not good for the New York Knicks. And in the first quarter, wasn't good either. But they were able to outscore the Celtics because of how many second chance points they got. At some point in, I believe, the third quarter, they put a stat on the screen where it was 17 second chance points for the New York Knicks and only 2 second chance points for the Boston Celtics. I mean, it's impossible to win. When you're the Celtics, it's almost impossible to win like that. That's why the Knicks can shoot a lower percentage than Boston did and still win the game and be up by a pretty good score for a majority of the game. Very, very comfortable win if you are rooting for the right team to root for, which is obviously the Knicks. But getting on to how the bench performed, Knicks go 10 guys deep tonight, not 11 guys. Ariel Porty is the guy who did not make it onto the basketball court. Unfortunately, he was one of the guys I did want to see, but we saw Karl-Anthony Towns sliding into the starting 5 spot instead of the point guard or the power forward role, which is where he started in game 1. He can play both roles. He's better as a power forward, and we will be a complete team once Mitchell Robinson is back. Of course, Mitch is going to be the starting 5 for this team, adds the rim protection. Karl-Anthony Towns is going to give us a ton of scoring from the power forward position, and they should be a fantastic combo. But looking at who's getting the most minutes off the bench, Josh Hart makes his season debut after missing game 1 with lower back spasms, comes in, plays 19 minutes, which was characterized as a minutes restriction for Josh Hart. So even though we are going for a deeper rotation, we can expect Josh Hart's numbers to increase as he gets healthier and healthier from that injury. But 1 for 8, really poor shooting night for Josh Hart. He had a pretty concerning wide open 3 that I think he airballed it in the 4th quarter. Don't love to see that. 0 for 3 was Josh Hart from the 3-point line. No one on the bench putting up more than 6 points. Jordan Clarkson hitting 2 deep threes that helped the team, gel together, move on, score in transition, leading the bench, which is expected for this team. Going into the season, you'd expect Jordan Clarkson, my favorite offseason acquisition for this team, to go out and lead the bench in scoring. Clarkson is a guy who can give you 25 off the bench any given night. We haven't seen it yet, but I promise you, Jordan Clarkson, big games from him are coming very, very soon. Tyler Kolek continues to get a lot of minutes and continuing to make me eat my words from the preseason, but I can only comment on what I'm seeing, and clearly Kolek has had some better practices than what he performed as, what he put on. His performances in the preseason and the summer league just straight up wasn't good. So of course I did not see this breakout coming from Kolek. I loved him as a prospect coming out of Marquette, but I thought his rookie year was highly disappointing, and obviously, well, maybe not highly disappointing because you wouldn't expect Kolek to get a ton of run because he's a rookie playing for Tom Thibodeau, who notoriously does not play rookies. So, that would not happen, but you love to see what Tyler Kolek is doing. He is, profiling as someone that can be a really, really solid rotational guard off the bench. Is he ever going to grow into a reliable 6-man? That's the next step for him. I'm not sure that would happen, especially not with the New York Knicks if Deuce McBride sticks around long term. So that's going to be very interesting to see. 1 point to take away from the bench. Jordan Clarkson, while only putting up 6 points, he did have the best plus minus by far from the bench, and actually the second best plus minus on the entire team of a plus minus 12. Really, really good stuff from Jordan Clarkson. Easily our, right now, I think this team is going to need more scoring off the bench, which is why I do think Jordan Clarkson is the best player off the bench in terms of, plus minus, even if Josh Hart is probably overall a better basketball player. The modern NBA is all about scoring, and unfortunately, Josh Hart's scoring is not his strong suit. Everything else, amazing, but scoring is what the name of the game is, and he is not going to be great about that yet. But love to see what the New York Knicks are doing. The defense, Thibodeau is not the head coach anymore, but you can still see the defensive intensity is all over this team. Absolutely amazing to see. Force a ton of turnovers from the Boston Celtics and turn them into, at some point, it was 15 transition points for the New York Knicks to 0 transition points for the Boston Celtics. The Knicks outscoring the Celtics in that, which is a hustle stat and effort stat. They were turning defense into offense. Really, I feel like I'm just saying buzzwords that coaches say in interviews with reporters that they don't want to talk to, but it was really true for tonight. The Knicks were doing all the right things, playing hard, and they were being rewarded with the basketball bouncing their way because they were playing hard. Next game, against the Miami Heat on Sunday. Shoot a little bit better, but other than that, you really could not ask for a better start to the season for the New York Knicks. Just got to make sure OG Anunoby is healthy, but right now, it looks like just a little bit of cramping, and I do think we can expect him to play against the Miami Heat, probably start against the Miami Heat. Most likely, OG Anunoby is going to be just fine, but that's what I got for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Knicks.